Baylor Bears, they wrapped up their spring. We spoke to Craig Smoke with Sikkim 365 Sports, and he said, much like Oklahoma, 6-7 last year, coming off a year where they won the Big 12 championship, went 12-2, best year in program history. But much like we just heard from Tyler McComas at Norman, quarterback issues linger. Quarterback issues lingering. Here's Craig Smoke from Sikkim 365 Sports talking about the Blake Shapen and who's next situation in Waco, Texas.
You guys know what I'm talking about. It's just not a great feeling around right now that people are just super pumped and super confident and feeling like he's going to be the guy next year. And when you don't really have another option to pivot to, and Dave Aranda's talking about naming a starting quarterback, and all arrows point to the guy who's probably the same guy you saw last year, it's just not super inspiring the fan base. And so I'm curious to see kind of how that goes. But you're right. He had his opportunity last year. He didn't take full advantage of it, and I don't know what all can change enough to really flip that too much and change too much from what we've already seen. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on, and something that a few people are a bit worried about, to say the least.
All right, so that's Blake Shapen, and you said in a previous Eyes on Texas multicast that, maybe it might have been you. We talked to so many people, but was it you that talked about the allowing Gary Bohannon to leave? The Brett Venable, Dave Aranda being a nice guy and letting Gary Bohannon, who was so good for them in that 12-2 year until Blake Shapen took over at the end of the year, just transfer, was like, no, you need to go, find your spot. Well, a lot of people in Waco, including you, think that maybe Shapen got a little comfortable thinking there was no one behind him now, and I think they're still dealing with that.
Baylor lost so many leaders from that 2021 team that won 12 games. Jalen Petrie, Terrell Bernard, J.T. Woods, Gary Bohannon transferred out, R.J. Smead, Abram Smith. And Aranda was reluctant to go into the transfer portal and replace those guys with guys he didn't recruit to Baylor. He wanted to do it the old-fashioned way, trust the guys he had on campus and let them kind of roll into it. And it cost them. They go 6-7. So they added 11 transfers, including Sawyer Robinson, quarterback from Mississippi State. I'd imagine that number grows close to 15 to help fulfill that roster. And so we'll see if that pushes Blake a little bit at the quarterback position. He undoubtedly needs to play better. But I think the story at Baylor is also what's around him, right? Like as a quarterback, you can only throw it to guys if they're open, and they don't have a lot of outside weapons. Maybe that's gotten a little bit better in this offseason. But until the wide receivers get better, it's going to be harder for the quarterback to get better as well.